How often have you decided that you want to go to the gym but have no idea where to get started? How often have you gone in and just walked from machine to machine trying to spend the hour and have no idea what exercises you should do? Sometimes feel like it's too overwhelming to get started. You start Googling and you get inundated with normal sets, supersets, myo reps, reps in reserve, minimum volume, maximum recoverable volume, how many exercises should you do per muscle group, mesocycles, microcycles, training blocks, and then you just give up and put it off for another day. If that's you, then this video is for you. The first thing that I would say is get a workout tracker app and start tracking your workouts. You can get something like Strong or Heavy. Both of them are free on the Play Store and the App Store. Before you go in, you should have a workout plan preloaded based on the number of days you're actually going into the gym. And depending on the number of days, you should actually put those days in your Google Calendar. For example, for me, I have slots on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. That's around the time that I go to the gym. And whenever it's around that time, I already know it's already a habit. So I can just get up and go. And I don't have to think about what am I doing or what muscle groups I'm hitting or what kind of workout I'm doing because I already have that preloaded. If you're confused about where to get these workouts, you can just Google them or go on ChatGPT and get it to make you some sort of workout. The second point that I would make is progressive overload. You have to progressively overload each week and each session. For example, you can start literally at 5 or 10 pounds and just keep on adding either 5 pounds to the bar every week or a rep or two. You need to progress in some sort of way. This is a fundamental hallmark of hypertrophy training. Like if you're trying to get bigger muscles, you need to be your body adapts to the weight you start with, so you need to keep upping the ante. The thing is, this is different for men and women. I would say men start off with too much weight and then they add on too much weight. They'll be adding like 10, 15, 20 pounds to the bar, sometimes even more, and then they just get hurt and they'll take a break for a couple of months and slide back to their starting point. But when it comes to women, they never even get close to their 1, 2, or 3 rep maxes. So it's just a good rule of thumb that as soon as you walk in, the thing that I do is I'll have my water bottle and I'll walk over to the water dispenser. And while it's filling up, this is as soon as I walk into the gym, I'll just add 5 pounds to my first exercise. And it's just a habit that every time I'm walking over to a different machine or something, that I'm just going into my phone and just adding either 5 pounds or 1 or 2 reps. Sometimes, depending on if it's dumbbells, then you can't just add 5 pounds because the dumbbells in my gym go from 10 to 20 to 30, something like that. So if that's the case, then I'll do basically, let's say I do a set of 10 with 20-pound dumbbells. The next week I'll try aiming for a set of 12, and then the third week is when I pick up the 30-pound dumbbells. I really try to stick to that 5 pound range. And if I can't add 5 pounds or I have to add 10 instead, then I'll just stick to my weight and add 2 reps before I go up to 10 pounds. But the thing is, either way, you need to add more weight onto the bar. You should be adding more weight onto the bar every week. And if you can't lift that extra weight after a couple of weeks, then you should deload. But we'll talk about that later. The third thing, if you're a newbie to the gym, is good technique. This is something that I didn't know about, but I had to like Google around and find out after I got a little bit of an elbow pain. Basically, there's 4 components of every lift. The positive is called the concentric, the negative is called the eccentric, and then there's basically the top pause and the bottom pause. Good technique focuses on the target muscle. If you're doing a bicep curl and you're using your hips, why would you do that? Like that's not your target muscle in that exercise. You get more fatigued, you have to use more weight to get the same stimulus. Instead, you could be using less weight if you just focus on your technique. So if you were ranking these 4 components of any lift, the concentric and the top part are less effective and less hypertrophic. So you can be a little faster here. The main mistake that you're gonna see in any gym setting is the eccentric. People will just lift the weight up, get it up there, stop there for a second, and then just let it free fall. Don't do that. Don't let it free fall. It leads to increased injury risk and less hypertrophy. So it's less effective and it's marginally more dangerous. The last thing is the pause at the bottom. This is the most important step. Most people skip out on this or they'll just bounce out of it. So you'll see this a lot on the bench press. Someone will start up here and then they'll just bounce the bar off their chest. You shouldn't be doing that. A, it reduces your injury risk if you pause at the bottom before going back into the concentric. And B, it's just more effective. The fourth thing that I would say is aim for workouts between 45 and 90 minutes. You don't have to be there for 2 hours. I see some people, they're in there for 2, 3 hours, and a lot of it is just them talking to other people, which is fine, but they can't be saying that they're doing 2 hour workouts. I think if you're just starting out, you should be keeping your workouts super, super short. Like if you start getting annoyed at the length of your workouts or the number of exercises you're doing, then you need to reduce it. The fifth thing is specificity matters. Basically, what I mean by that is, let's say you're focusing on your upper body, then most of your sets and most of your volume should be focused on your upper body. Like, if you want bigger arms, then you should be doing more bicep curls. The same goes for bigger legs. If you want bigger legs, you should be training your legs more. Whatever it is, if you want to prioritize that, then you should be adding more volume. More volume does equal more growth. Like, there's a line of diminishing returns, but on average, more is better when it comes to hypertrophy training. The sixth thing that I would say is stick with your program through a mesocycle. Let's say you Google something, you got some sort of program and you put it in. You shouldn't be switching things out too much. Like yes, if you really hate an exercise, switch it out, but stick to the overall program, which is so I just mentioned the mesocycle. Each mesocycle is like 4 to 8 weeks. So for at least a month or two, you should be sticking to that program. And if you're a beginner, if I'm correct, you can stick to these workout programs for even longer. So you might be able to go like 12 weeks, 16 weeks before you have to switch things out. Here's the thing. Whatever program you're starting with, there is no perfect exercise. Whatever exercises that's got planned in there, after a couple of months, you're just not going to like them as much, or you might start hating them. That's not the case with every single exercise out there. Like, I love pull ups, but, and like even the lat pull down, and I did that for a year straight before I got tired of them. But even then, like, after a long enough time, the exercise is going to start hurting you, and you won't like it as much. So most people start a program, they'll change something, they'll just switch to another one 2 weeks in, another one 2 weeks in, and they never get anywhere. And then another thing that I would say is don't add too many exercises for each muscle group. For example, for let's say back, you only need like 2 exercises. For chest, you also only need like 2 or 3 exercises to cover your bases. Basically, instead of having 5 different exercises, which I've seen in the gym, I saw this one guy who walked in. I think he did normal bicep curls, just standing bicep curls, and then he did the preacher curl. He did like a couple of sets there. Then he walked over to the cable machine, did a bunch of sets there, and then he was still doing standing bicep curls by the time I walked out of the gym. You only need 1 or 2 exercises per major muscle group. If you're trying to train your biceps, you just need 1 exercise or 2 max in your week. Like, you don't need to go through every single machine in the gym to actually get good hypertrophy. So what do you do once you've been sticking to a program for 4 to 8 months? That's when a deload week comes in. Basically, you just slash your sessions, your sets, and your volume in half, and basically just do some rehab work. And then after that, you can start back up and start an accumulation phase again. The last thing I would say is make it enjoyable. Like, if you don't enjoy going to the gym, you're not going to be consistent, and consistency is the main thing here. Basically, if you're doing like even if you're doing suboptimal exercises and you're doing them with bad technique, as long as you keep showing up to the gym, you're going to grow. Like, there's a clip that I saw floating around where someone was like, you shouldn't listen to music if you're going to the gym. Listen to music. Like, if it makes your workouts more fun, listen to music. If listening to some sort of random podcast or a YouTube video makes your workouts more fun, then you should be listening to them. You have to suffer if you're going to the gym. And the last thing is, even when it comes to exercises, if you just like machine exercises and you just love them, then just do machine exercises. You don't have to do free weights. I would say free weights would be better if you're starting out, but you don't have to do these things. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see a breakdown of metformin that I did a couple of weeks ago, then definitely click up there.